This is the 2026 GMC Sierra 2500 HD Denali, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you all the details you need to know about this truck. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I borrowed this truck from my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color is called Downpour Metallic. The interior is going to be a atmosphere with brownstone. Give you a quick look at that. And this truck will come in four-wheel drive. It's going to have a 342 rear axle, and all of your lighting on the front end, all over the truck in fact, is going to be LED. Now let me show you a little trick here. You have the animated lights. When you unlock the truck, you're going to get this not only on the front but also on the rear. Those are actually called locator lights, and if they're not working on your truck, if you have this style of truck, then there's a setting on the infotainment screen you need to turn on. I'll show you how to do that later in the video. We do have the nice large front end, very aggressive looking. This air intake is functional, and we'll also find our front camera right here, the forward-facing camera. This is a camera washer, so every time you run your windshield washer fluid, that's going to spray windshield washer fluid across the camera, not only across your windshield to clean your windshield, but also with the camera right there as well. We're going to have the recovery hooks here in chrome, LED fog lights to go with those daytime running lights. You can see the sensors here. There are a ton of safety features with this truck. Now, I am curious to know what your thoughts are as far as the wheel design goes right here. What do you think? These are the 20-inch wheels. You will also find a spare tire located underneath the rear of the truck. For those of you that live in an extremely cold environment, it's cold more often than not throughout the year, and you get below, say, 25 degrees, here's where you're going to plug in your cable for your block heater. A little trick with that you may or may not know about. What I like to do, I own a GMC 2500 of my own with this same 6.6 liter Duramax diesel under the hood. I put mine on a timer so it comes on about 2 hours before I'm ready to leave. That way I'm not wasting electricity. Just my personal thing that I do with that. Some of you may or may not care about that. Let's talk about the side view mirrors. A lot going on here. We're gonna have our turn signal indicators built in, LED lighting to help you out after dark, not only on the front, but also here on the rear. They're heated, they're power adjustable, and they're also power folding. We're going to push the button right here to show you that they're not only power folding, you can see your blind spot monitoring built in right there in the top left-hand corner. And then we push this button for power folding, this button to extend them out for trailering. And we'll let those go back in. Quite a bit going on here. We're going to have the power assist steps that go back under the truck when you close the doors. Obviously, they'll come out when you open the doors. Very nice, very convenient. There's a setting on your center screen where you can leave those deployed when you are washing the truck or whatever you need for that. Now, when you go into drive and start moving, they will go back under the truck. They won't just stay out, something you might want to know about. Here is the bed step right here. That makes it easy to gain access to the front portion of the bed if you need to, where that is concerned. And then we'll work our way around here. We're also going to have the corner steps on the bumper right here. And then here on the rear, we're also going to have those same animated taillights or locator lights that I was telling you about earlier in the video. And we'll finish things off on the rear. We're gonna have the cab light right there. You have your spray-in bed liner, tons of tie downs, a total of 12 different tie downs throughout the interior of the bed. And we'll also have our in-bed LED lighting. That's the lighting right there. It's kind of hard to see with this bright Louisiana sunshine today, but that does a great job of illuminating the interior of the bed. We'll also find the light right here that's going to allow it to be easier for you to see what's going on in this area when you're hitching up to a trailer. Under the hood is the 6.6 liter Duramax diesel. It makes 470 horsepower and 975 pounds-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And this truck will feature a 36-gallon fuel tank. Your payload comes in at 2,968 pounds. Conventional towing is going to come in with a max of 18,500 pounds. Your fifth wheel or gooseneck will be 19,100 pounds. you will find the multi-pro tailgate with this truck. When you lower the tailgate down like this, it's going to be in the conventional manner that you're used to seeing. However, there's a lot more to it than that. We can push the button right here. That allows us to fold this area down. That can be used as a table or whatever the case may be. This can be used as a bed extender. Now, it does serve a couple of different purposes. So we're going to fold that back down and put this back up just like this. We have bed extender number 2 as far as this goes. There we go right there. And then one other thing that I really like about this tailgate is that we can drop this area just like this, and that allows you to have a much easier time gaining access to the cargo area, the bed back here, your 120 volt power outlet. If you want to use that, you have all of your hookups for your trailering. Everything's going to be here. And then we'll also find everything for towing the gooseneck or fifth wheel is already here. And this also works as a step. So you can use that, makes it easier to get in and out of the bed of the truck. We'll also find your lighting back here as far as this area right here goes. Now you can go with the Kicker audio system if you want to. It just depends on how you option the truck. And one little trick, in case you have a trailer hitch mounted down here, if you don't want to damage this portion of the tailgate, you don't want to open that and have it opened all the way down there. You open this portion down like this and then open the tailgate all the way. It could dent this area. So here's what happens. You can actually lock this. So you can still open the tailgate in the conventional manner, but this front or top section won't open. What I did was I held down the top button and I waited to see the tail lights flash. It takes about 10 seconds. When you see that, then that means you either locked or unlocked this area. Just a nice little safety tip. There is no shortage of space when it comes to the interior. Plenty of room with the comfortable armrests. You can see your contrast stitching, the baseball style stitching, and the piping right here. Large door bins and plenty of room with storage, including the in-seat storage. I really like that. That's on both sides, just gives you some extra space, rear seat pockets, and then you can raise both seat cushions up to gain access to the tools to change your tire if you need to. There's also additional storage underneath, and very easy to get in and out of between the step and the grab handle right there. We're going to find cup holders built into the rear of the center console. We're going to find air conditioning vents. There's your buttons for the heated outboard seats, a couple of USB ports, and if there weren't enough cup holders, there's 2 more right here with the fold-down armrest. And if you're curious about the sunroof, yes, there is an available sunroof here. It is a conventional size. It will tilt and slide open. Just like we saw with the rear doors, you've got a nice large door bin right here and the armrest. We're going to find our heated and ventilated seats that are power adjustable, and lumbar support will be right here. And then we'll also find that we have the upper glove box right there and the lower glove box. Again, additional storage. And then on each side of the center console, we have this little area right here. Maybe not very big, but whatever can fit there will fit. That makes it nice and convenient. And the Denali logo stitched into the seat backs. The sticker price is $92,750. Let's see what else you get for that price. And we'll have our digital rear view mirror. You can use that as a conventional rear view mirror if you so desire to, but there that is. And to adjust that, we're going to push this button. We can adjust the brightness. We can adjust if we zoom in or zoom out. You can also adjust the angle just like this. So there we go with that. And we have something that I really like here that I think we're going to lose in the future based on what we have with the 2026, 2025, and 2026 Yukons with the nice large screen. I don't know if it's nice or not, but it's large. But you still have, in this case, Home Link. Those buttons are gone in the Yukons because it's in the screen now, but you still have that here. We can open and close our sunroof. We have everything else up here, OnStar and all that good stuff is here. So just in case you're curious about those things, there they are. Seat memory on the driver's side. I always think that should be on the passenger side too, but it's not. But that's what we have. If you're going to have it on the driver's side, it should also be on the passenger side. Here are all of the controls for your side view mirrors and your power windows. Your power parking brake is here. Now here's where you're going to control your 4-wheel drive. If you turn that off, 4 high, 4 low, you can go to auto if you want to, and your drive mode selector. We're going to see what our drive modes are. We're going to have off-road. We're also going to have normal. You control your lights here, your cab light, all that LED lighting I showed you on the exterior right here. And then we're also going to control our headlights here. You can just leave that on auto. You don't have to worry about anything. And I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not. There's also a head-up display. We're going to have the controls for the head-up display. You're going to change where the head-up display is located, the info, and the brightness right there. Steering wheel mounted controls include everything for cruise control over here and voice commands, and then several other things here as well that you can deal with as far as going through your display layout. If you want to change that, we can push on the scroll wheel right here, and we can actually go to a couple of different looks. Depending on what you like, you can choose from several presets here. We have progressive, we have digital, and we also have clean, so I can show you how all of that looks. Now I'm going to go back up here to progressive just so I can show you a couple more things. If you want to set that up to where it's individual, we're going to go back here. We're going to arrow over. You can do the left side, the right side, the lower gauges. You can see what all is there. And then if you get to a point where you say, you know what, I really don't like what I have, you can reset to defaults. You're just going to push your scroll wheel right here and you're good to go. One thing that's interesting, I've only had to do this once. I've had my truck since May of 2024, but one time I got in and there was no sound, even when I turned the blinkers on. That sound, I couldn't even hear that. I went through everything I could think of to fix that, and I finally did something that I knew you could do to reset the center screen if anything unusual ever happens and you need to. You hold down this button right here, and it will eventually go blank, and then it will reset itself. So if you run into that problem, that's how you fix it. Now, this is a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. It's manually adjustable right there. So that's what you're going to have where that is concerned. And we have our good old-fashioned knob for the radio, adjusting the volume, turning that on and off. All that good stuff is here. Everything for trailering. I'm not going to go through this in great detail. We're going to try and get through this quickly. But just to show you what's here, you've got all that information. You can add the trailer, use a guest trailer, all that good stuff. Now, camera views. There are a ton here. There is our front camera view. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there's your front camera washer. So if you're wondering how that looks, there's how that is going to look when you do that. Now, you don't have to have the front camera up for the front camera washer to work, just so you know. Here's our rear view camera, and then we're going to have our overhead views. When you see those two dots right there, one's orange, one's gray, that means you have two different views. The side view, mirror view, quite a few views here, so you don't have to worry about not being able to see, that's for sure. And then we're going to select right there and we can see the in-bed view as far as that goes. So here we go with all of that. Now you might notice the overhead view is gone. How do you get that back? We just come right there. So all I did was select right there just in case you run into that problem. You're going to have Google Assistant. You'll have the Play Store so you can add whatever apps you want to that may not be here. Google Maps built in, audio is here, all of that. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone and use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Now let's go into settings. We'll spend a little bit of time here because there's a couple of things I want to show you. We're going to go to vehicle right here, and you'll have teen driver mode, rear seat reminder, buckle to drive. All of that's going to be here. How about your safety features? I mentioned those safety features earlier. What are they? You have your alert type. You can make a lot of adjustments here. Automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, lane change alert, park assist tow bar, and rear cross traffic alert. This stuff's super easy to figure out, so you don't necessarily need me to go through and give you a quick tutorial on all of it. It wouldn't be quick if I did. But remember I talked about the locator lights earlier? We're going to go to lighting right here, and here is vehicle locator lights. So if you don't see those working the way I showed you earlier in the video, just make sure they're set to on. And that is how simple that is. Here's the button to start and stop the engine. Now on these Denalis and Denali Ultimates, you're going to have a little bit of a different look right here. So that's going to be one of the differences on my truck, which is an SLT. It's at a 90-degree angle. It's flat basically against the dash area. We're going to have our ventilated seats and heated seats. All of that is very helpful. Heated steering wheel right here. If you want to turn that on and off, you can also go into your screen and set that stuff to come on automatically when you start the truck, depending on how you want things to work. Dual zone climate control is here. And then all of our controls, such as your exhaust brake. You're going to have everything here. I think you know what just about everything is here as far as that goes. The tailgate, you can drop the tailgate with the button right here. The same thing you can do with the remote, the key fob, but you can only lower it. When you have that multi-pro tailgate, it won't automatically raise it back up. And then you'll have your hazard light button, traction control. All those great features are going to be here. A little bit of storage space in front of the center console area. A couple of USB ports right here. Cup holders, trailer brake control right there. Plenty of room with the center console. And one thing that you'll notice that is not here, I'm going to pull that tray out of there, a lot of space, but notice what you haven't seen in the interior of this truck. Something GMC has gone away from over the last several years is not having any 12-volt power outlets. Some people tell me it's right here next to the wireless charging pad. You can see that's another 120-volt power outlet, and then your USB ports, your wireless charging pad. One thing I mentioned earlier in the video is the key fob. Here it is, lock, unlock, remote start. You can open your power tailgate, and there's your panic button. There is a key located inside of the key fob if the battery dies on that and you need to get into your truck. Okay, here we go on the test drive. One thing that is very interesting about these trucks is how quick they are. If you need to get up and go, it might surprise you the first time you step on it, and it will definitely surprise people around you. If you're going around a slow poke or something like that, that's one of the things I love about my Sierra. It's fast, surprisingly. Now, it may not have the smoothest ride quality, but you know what? It's not bad. I've definitely been in vehicles in years gone by that were far worse, and so you don't have to worry about that being anything unexpected, we'll say. But ultimately, these seats themselves are very comfortable. A lot of adjustability between the steering wheel and the driver's seat, so no matter who's driving, that's not going to be a problem as far as adjusting things. Just make sure when you set everything to your liking that you know which remote you used, of the two remotes that come with the truck. That way, when you get back in and you push seat memory or whatever you have to do, if you have multiple drivers, then it won't be an issue. Very easy to see out of. I do like having the multiple camera views. This is a very large truck, and so sometimes you find yourself in tight spaces where you need the cameras to help you to see. And we'll get out on the road. We had to make a quick U-turn. This truck doesn't have the best turning radius, which should be no surprise. Now, one thing I did not mention earlier in the video while we were going through everything as far as the infotainment screen goes and the technology that's here is the fact that the technology is not difficult to learn and use. So if this is something that's new to you, don't let that scare you off. Don't let that be a concern. There's a lot of tutorials right here on YouTube. I have quite a few myself. Maybe there's something you want to know about that you can't find. Tell me down in the comments section about that, and I will be more than happy to make a tutorial, something you can see on video, and that'll make it easy to learn whatever it is you need to learn about. But overall, so much space here in the truck. Great for long road trips. I know I've had mine on the road several times for a few hours and still nice and comfortable and enjoyable to drive. It's a really good truck, and I know some people may not like it, but this is really what you would call a luxury workhorse. So tell me what you think about the 2026 GMC Sierra 2500 HD Denali. If there's something you wanted to know that maybe I didn't cover, we tried to hit as many high points as possible without making the video too long. I might have missed something you wanted to know about. Tell me down in the comments section. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC for loaning me this truck for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Please be sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.